Academic tabs, this permission form must be signed or participate. Please pick up one in the office. They may be turned into Mrs. Lard and Mrs.
Answer on this one should be D. The answer on this one should be B. The answer on this one is obtained by doing 8 squared to get 64. This squared is simply 30. You subtract the 2 and come up with the answer C, 34. Answer on this one is to square 5 to get 25, square the square root of 3 to get 3, subtract the 2, answer is A, 22. Pick a number from 1 to 20. The winning numbers today are 2, 7, 9, 12, and 18. Homework check. Bring it up and show me what you have. 2 out of 7 is 29%. Here are the answers. 1 is 6 plus 3 square root of 2 over 2. 2 is 18 plus 6 square root of 2 over 7. 3 is going to be 44 plus 11 square root of 6 plus 4 square root of 3. And it should not be plus square root of 18 on the end. That should be 3 square root of 2 on the end of that. And then over 10. For number 4, it's going to be 45 plus 5 square root of 6 plus 9 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 3. Number 5 is 54 plus 6 square root of 10 over 71. 6 is 32 plus 8 square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 3 plus square root of 6 over 14. 7 is 66 plus 11 square root of 7 plus 6 square root of 3 plus square root of 21 over 29. And 8 is 80 plus 8 square root of 3 over 97. Alright, 9 is 24 plus 2 square root of 6 over 69. 10 is 55 plus or minus 5 square root of 10 over 111. And then we have 12 minus 4 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 6. And that should be 2 square root of 3 on the end instead of the square root of 12. All of that over 7. And I did that. I put the right answer here below it. 12 is going to be 16 minus 8 square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 10 plus square root of 30. 13 is 12 minus 4 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 6. That should be 2 square root of 3 on the end in place of square root of 12. And then over 7. 14 is 54 minus 9 square root of 10 minus 6 square root of 7 plus square root of 70 over 26. And 15 is a negative 5 halves. The objective today is to simplify radical expressions. Example 1. On this problem, the same as we did yesterday, you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the expression here on the bottom except change the sign. So it would be 4 plus square root of 6 over 4 plus square root of 6. On the top, you will have 3 times 4 to start with. That's going to be 12. 3 times square root of 6 is 3 square root of 6. Then go to the square root of 2. square root of 2 times 4 is 4 square root of 2. And then square root of 2 times square root of 6, square root of 12. On the bottom you learn, or you use the trick that we learned yesterday when you're multiplying these two together and you have different signs. 4 squared is 16. Square root of 6 squared is 6. You subtract the 2. Come up with 10. We can still simplify one thing so far, and that's the square root of 12 on the end. So it would be 12 plus 3 square root of 6 plus 4 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 3. That comes from square root of 4 square root of 3. And then look at your numbers. You have a 12, 3, 4, 2, and 10. You can't divide all those by anything except 1. So this is your final answer. Example 2. What do I have to multiply the top and the bottom by in this case? 2 minus square root of 5, right. Okay, so on the top, we're going to end up with 10 minus 5 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 3 and minus square root of 15. Remember, that comes from 5 times both of these and square root of 3 times both of these. Pay attention to your signs. Since this is negative or minus, then we end up with a minus here. And this is positive, minus, so we end up with a minus there. You're multiplying positive times negative and positive times negative. That's why we get these minus signs. Now on the bottom, 2 squared is 4. Square root of 5 squared is 5. So you subtract the 2 and you come up with negative 1. You can't have a negative 1 in the denominator. The way you get rid of it is if you just eliminate it on the bottom. You go through the top and change the sign of everything. If it were a positive 1, you just wipe it out. With a negative 1, you keep the top, but you change the sign of everything through there. So the negative 1 is gone, and you're left with your answer. For this problem, you have to multiply the top and the bottom by 6 plus square root of 7. And when you do that, you'll get on the top 42 plus 7 square root of 7 minus 6 square root of 2 minus square root of 14. On the bottom, you'll have 36 minus 7, which is 29. You have no reductions that you can do through here, so this is your final answer. Yeah, I put square root of 2 by accident, and it should be square root of 7 here at this point, so that's the right answer. Multiply the top and the bottom by 2 plus the square root of 2. And on the top you end up with 8 plus 4, that should be 4 square root of 2, and then plus 2 square root of 6, and then plus square root of 12. On the bottom, you're going to end up with 4 minus 2, which is 2. You can still simplify the following. You have 8 plus 4 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 6 plus 2 square root of 3. Over 2. Now go back and check. All of our square roots are simplified, but we have 8, 4, 2, and 2 on the top and a 2 on the bottom. So we can cancel. Divide the top by 2 and come up with 4 plus 2 square root of 2 plus square root of 6 plus square root of 3. That's your answer. Answer on this one is A. Answer on this one should be C. Here's example 3. Now in this example, you have 5 plus square root of 2 over 3 minus square root of 8. You have two choices. One is to do it the same way we have been doing right off the bat. And second would be to simplify the square root of 8. If you don't simplify the square root of 8 now, you're going to have items that you have to simplify later, and it'll be more than one. So let's start with simplifying. Keep the top the same, and on the bottom, the square root of 8 breaks up as 4 and 2. Square root of 4 times square root of 2. So it's 2 square root of 2. Now, once you have it simplified, you can go and multiply the top and the bottom by the same expression, except the different sign. Now, you can multiply the top and the bottom by 3 plus 2 square root of 2. And then from there, do your multiplications. On the top, you have 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Next, you have 5 times 2 square root of 2. 5 times 2 square root of 2 is just 10 square root of 2. You're only multiplying the 5 by the 2. You keep the square root of 2. 5 times 2 is 10, and you keep the square root of 2. Now go to the square root of 2 and multiply it by 3 to get 3 square root of 2. And then you want square root of 2 times 2 square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is just 2. But you already have a 2 out in front, so it's times 2 after that. This times this is 2. And then times 2 is 4. On the bottom you would have 9 to start with if you square that. But if you square this, remember what do you get when you square the square root of 2? 2. But what do you get when you square this 2?
4.
And 4 times 2 is 8. So then we end up with 9 minus 8, which is a 1 on the bottom. Now you have to look at your numbers. 15, 10, 3, and then a 4. There's nothing that comes out of all of them except 1, and you have to get rid of this 1 to begin with. So your final answer is 15 plus 10 square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 2 plus 4.